Hello guys and welcome to another exciting video on this channel. Now in this video I'm going to talk about the proper ways to use images for your print on demand designs. Now it's not always the case that you have all the type of images that you own, you personally own, that you have personally taken, and for all the niches that you want to enter. Sometimes you have to find the images from online libraries, most of the cases public domain libraries, or maybe just Google Images to use in your print on demand business. But I would not recommend to use the images from Google Images because of course for the copyright reasons. But there are certain libraries, certain websites which give you access to the copyright free images, or you can say the public domain images. And I have previously made a video on this topic where you can find these images. Now the cases that I want to discuss in this video are actually the three different cases. The first case is that you want to create vector designs from any kind of image. Maybe you want to create a vector design based on a butterfly, a dog, or cat, any niche. Of course you do not own all the breeds of the cats, and it's not really possible that you have the ownership of all the images for all the different breed, or actually ownership for every kind of image for every kind of breed of a certain animal. That's not possible, or even in some cases those wild animals. So you have to rely on online marketplace, or not marketplaces, actually online free libraries most of the cases. And if you want, you can purchase the images as well. And if you want to create the vector designs, you have to of course trace it from real images. So this is one the scenario. The other scenario would be if you want to create images or designs based on realistic type of like using the realistic animal images, or maybe just using some kind of maybe persons or football players, or any kind of machinery like bikes, cars, something like that. Or if you want to use the third scenario would be if you want to create some kind of textures or overlay kind of effects. So I will discuss three scenarios in this video, so make sure that you watch the video till the end. For the purpose of getting copyright free images or public domain images, I mostly use Unsplash, Pexels, actually Pexels, I think it's called Pexels, and then Pixabay. So these are those websites which allow you to use the images, and these images are most of the cases, actually in case of Unsplash, Pixabay and Pexels, these images are in public domain. The problem here occurs is that you cannot verify that if a certain image is actually in fact a public domain image or copyright free image, because the person who have uploaded, how would you know that the person has not stolen that image from somewhere? So there is always a risk in this case. So I wouldn't recommend that you use these images as it in your designs. And that's why I have made this video in which I will show you how you can modify these images basically. So let's start with the first case. I'm going to use Affinity Designer in this case, and but you can use any kind of software that you like and that you are familiar with. So let's open up our image in Affinity Designer. So this is the first scenario here, is that I have this image of butterfly that I obtained from this website Unsplash, and or you can simply use their built-in feature of these search results and everything, using Unsplash, Pixels and Pixabay inside Affinity Designer if you are using it. But I prefer to download these images from from web browser and then use it inside the software, because in this case I already have I already have this image on my disk, and that's really helpful for if we want to refer it sometimes later. So I have these images. Now I would like to create a butterfly design. I'm not going to show you the complete process here, just the way I would usually approach these kind of designs. So I want to, for example, if I want to create the butterfly design, I would choose some kind of images that I really like, and I will just start tracing the images, maybe just this wing here. So I'll just start tracing the wing, and I will not be really confined to the actual shapes of these, maybe loosely just building the shape of my object based on this image that I've created. Now you can see that I'm not really tracing it perfectly. Simply, the reason is that I don't want to use this image as it, because that might create some kind of copyright issues. Now I have created an outline. If I just hide this one, I have created an outline of this butterfly wing. And now, and this at this step, what I would usually do is that either I find a different butterfly image, a different image, and I would use the interior elements inside these wing design elements from the different image. I mix it from another image, the mixing of two or more images. That's what I'm talking about here. Or if I want to use these images, I would not use as much of these designs as it. I would loosely just create some kind of maybe 2 or 3 these what do you call sports or whatever it is. So I loosely create these elements based on this, and then I might refine it here in the future later on. But I do not want to use these designs as it, because of this copyright problems. So I'll just loosely create inner elements and maybe modify them later on, just to make them look good. And what I would usually do, if I have to create symmetrical sides of any kind of object or animal or anything, what I would usually do, I just simply group them together once one side is finished, and I will bring it on the other side and then flip it, and in this way I can create symmetrical designs that would look much better if I have as compared to if I have to just completely trace on the butterfly on both sides, or maybe a face of any animal or something like that. So this is how I would approach. In this way you are more, I would say, not likely to get any kind of copyright problems or something like that. You are already using a public domain website, and in addition to that you are creating the image vector design which are not exactly as the original image. You are changing the colors that I will discuss later on in the later part of this video as well, but also you are changing the shapes of this wing. Now if I don't like a certain way the wing appears, I would just simply, what I would do is that I would select this layer, I might change it in the shapes as I seem fit for my design, because I don't want to make it exactly as the original image. I might want to change it. So this is how I usually approach these kind of things. Now this is for these kind of images like butterfly and anything else, something like that. Let's just delete it, and let's move on to the next example. Okay, the next example is I want to show here is that using the image of another animal, maybe dog breed or something. Now butterflies, insects, these kind of things are not really, I would say, distinct. You cannot really identify a certain butterfly and see that, okay, this butterfly I saw there, and these kind of butterfly are found in that kind of region or from that kind of thing. That's not really possible. But if you are talking about images of animals or maybe some kind of things like that are maybe objects like maybe a horse or something like that, they are more likely to be you can say that identified, because they are the people own them as pets or something like that. So of course if somebody has uploaded the image online, it might be his pet, or it belongs to that. So that you don't want to be kind of associated with that. For example, there was this cat, I don't know what that's called. The cat has some very definite and unique features, and it was looking a frowned cat or something, always kind of angry cat. I don't know what's that called. I don't actually have this in mind, it's just slipped through my mind. So anyway, if you have accidentally found that image online of that cat and then tried to create a vector design based on that, you might get into trouble, because the owner of that cat has this rights to use the images for that cat. So you don't want to do it, and let me show you what I would do in these cases. So I have this image of a dog, and I think it's pug, because I'm not really good at identifying the breeds of animals. So in this way there is a highly chance that it is a pet of a person, and that person can claim copyrights for that if you use the vector tracing, or this image in particular, this image as it, without creating a vector design from it. That I would definitely never ever recommend that you use the images of these pets or animals, especially that can be pets, as it's not really good idea due to the copyright problem. So always create vector designs from these pet animals, pet images. And what I would usually again do is that I would loosely create an outline of the face, a half of the face, not the complete of the face. So I'll just start doing it, and then I would always separate the ears, and I will create the ears later on, because I want to make a little bit different here. So in this way, let's say I have created a half of this shape, this face, and I would go on creating these spots, inner spots, nose, and other facial features. And what I would usually do in this case is, if I would also search the images of this breed of dog, this breed of animal on Google Images, or these Unsplash and these kind of websites, and find out what are the other ways their ears appear in the certain images. Maybe they are just standing, or maybe they are on the sides, or what are the different ways these ears or their different facial features appear in these images. And also I would try to find out what are the sports, how the sports from one face from one of the images different from the different animal, from or not a different animal, from a different dog. So what I would usually do, I would loosely create these things. For example, this one I want to create like this one, maybe create a spot and then intersect it, and then maybe create an eye a little bit different, maybe a little bit more bold eyes, or these kind of things. And if I want to create a nose, I would not usually create the nose exactly as it. I would always create maybe change the way their features appear, and then I flip it on the other side, and then simply make it symmetrical. And this way there are less chances to get a copyright problem. So this is how I approach these images of the pets. And the third scenario is that if you are using the images of any kind of machine, maybe bicycle or an object that are created by humans, so I would say that you should not use vector trace or use those images of machines or any object that is created by human as it, because most of these objects, the designs of these objects, the style of these objects are actually patented and or copyrighted. So you can get a lot of trouble if you use a design of an object or anything that a person has created. For example, if there is a box of French fries or chips, and that box is McDonald's, maybe McDonald's chips or something like that, and if you trace that outer shape of that box or something, maybe just the way the box appears in the images, and they have this unique pattern to the shape of the box itself. So you do not want to use it. Make sure that whenever you are trying to create the objects or any machining object, bike, motorcycle, car, anything that are humanly created, so always change it and always try to make kind of those changes which are imaginary, that is not possible, that another person has or another company might have a patent for that. So that's something that I would usually recommend. Another thing is that if you are tracing the human maybe different poses, different things, something like that, always you can always take an outer shape, an outer silhouette shape of that of human body, that pose. But I would always recommend that never ever create the facial features of a particular human on a particular design. Always, maybe you just take your own picture and use your own facial features on a body of another person in the vector designs that I am talking about. So always use your own facial features on another person's body, change the position of the limbs, how they are appearing in those images. So that's how I would usually approach these. And the third scenario, actually the fourth scenario here, is that when you want to use the textures or kind of overlays in your images. And let me show you how I approach in these cases. So here I have these three texture images that I want to use in my maybe I want to create a design in which I want to apply these kind of texture. So what I would usually do is that I would overlay these textures and I would blend them before I use them together. For example, these three images, so I would create a new texture based on these existing images, existing textures, and for that purpose I will just go to the pixel persona and I would create a copy of this maybe top layer, because I might want to use it later, and hide the top and apply this, remove these certain kind of images. So I'll use this eraser tool, bring the hardness to the 0 and start just removing these certain images, random images. Just close this pop-up. So I'll just make my own textures based on that, and if and then if I can just change the blend modes, overlay, highlight, anything like that, and I would just place it differently and make copy of that, and then just change the rotation of that, and just blending of different images. That's what I would usually do, and then again remove certain kind of certain parts of this images. Actually that's paintbrush. Let's choose this eraser tool. So I'll just make it soft the edges and remove certain elements, and you can do in any kind of photo editing software, and just simply change the blend mode and the way it appears. And let me hide this one. So you can see that from a simple image, let me just hide this layer. So this was the original image, and then we have created a different image from the original one. And so what I usually do is that I will apply a hue saturation layer at the top and change the way the colors appear in any kind of texture. I might change it later on if I like it. Anything can be done in these kind of blending modes. So this is how I would usually just create a texture different from the original image, and I would use it in my designs. So this was the original image, and I have edited it and in order to create a different style, a different look of this texture. And if I use this texture, there are less chances of getting a copyright strike notice or copyright issue or anything like that. And in addition to this, these images as well, I will always incorporate my own image as well. I might have a texture of my own image, and I would apply that texture on these images and create a new texture, maybe save it as a PNG file for later use as well. So these are the few ways in which I use or I incorporate these public domain images in my own design, create my own vector graphics from these images. And these are not exactly the I would say that the same images as you have already seen. These are variations of these images, and in my opinion this lies in this fair use policy of these images. And these, I remember, I'm not using those Google images which can be copyrighted. I'm using those images which are already labeled as commercial use and already labeled as for public domain use. So always use those images, and then in addition to that modify those images as well. I wouldn't say that this is 100%, I would say, perfect or legal way or safe way to do it, but this is the way that I usually find most of the people are doing it in this way. And this is the way that ensures you that the way your design looks, the way your elements or graphics looks are much different than the original images, and they are less likely to get any kind of copyright problems, unless you are just blatantly copying exact shape, exact figure, exact features of a particular image that can be most probably be copyrighted. Maybe the shape of the building, maybe the shape of, as I already said, human made objects, because you are most likely to get any kind of copyright issues, copyright problems, patent kind of problem, if somebody has a patent on it, for those objects which are built by humans, that are created by humans, or that are owned by humans, the pets, the machinic objects, any kind of machine, any kind of I already said vehicle, any kind of building. So for those objects, always try to stay away from these kind of things. So hopefully you have found this video to be helpful, and I think it has gone a little bit longer than I expected, but hopefully you have found something valuable from this video. If so, make sure that you like the video, and if you want to learn more about design and earning online, you can subscribe to this channel, and don't forget to press that bell icon so that you can be notified about my future videos as well. And thank you for watching.